What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is March the 19th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing on Fed decision rate day. So happy to those that celebrate. But I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data points, not a whole lot aside from the decision rate. And so I think it is fair to assume that there won't be any cut, but what is going to be stated afterwards, that is going to move the market. So there's a couple different options. Powell could reiterate higher for longer, might not even bring up interest rates. So the market might not necessarily like that. A lot of individuals will be listening to the finite words that he does use as per usual, but I think recession will be a hot one for people to really pay attention to. So ultimately, in my opinion, I think he's going to reiterate what he stated like a week and a half ago, that the data points are good, that they're improving. They'll continue to monitor and adjust, but they're going to keep the higher for longer. That's how I see things playing out, of course. And since he last spoke like 2 weeks ago, we did have relatively good CPI, also PPI, not necessarily Michigan consumer sentiment. That wasn't all that great, but nonetheless, we are getting the majority of data coming in relatively good. So maybe he might piggyback off of that. But nonetheless, I am rather optimistic about this, but I think there is a certain level of hesitation, and that was very resemblant based on the price action of a lot of the market yesterday. So just anticipate a lot of volatility overall, but so far you are seeing the futures somewhat green. So Dow is up 0.09, S&P is 0.23, NASDAQ up 0.36. So the market is recovering overall, which is kind of a good thing. Aside from that, fear and greed index is under the extreme fear category, 20. I think this is accurate once again, but still with it at 20 does mean that people's appetite for risk isn't necessarily on the table. So if Powell does say something not necessarily the best, anticipate a lot of spec stocks to go down. But moving on, Sofi is up slightly, just piggybacking off the broader market. No news, no SEC filings associated to them today. But then again, what they normally do is they put out the news at like 8-9 o'clock. So I think it's a little bit too early for that anyways. But 12.22% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 131.76 million shares overall are being shorted. So I do feel that shorts will be very reactive to what Powell does state today, really either double down or not. There was a lot of abnormal kind of bearish options that was done yesterday. So I think, again, if Powell comes out a little bit more optimistic, let's say, I feel like there is going to be a lot of big money closing out a lot of those bearish options because this is going to set the trajectory for the market, most likely for the next at least 2 weeks. But right now with it at 12.03, trading between this S2 and this S3. So 11.31 will be a strong support. 12.72 will be the next strong target / resistance. Last 2 trading days, didn't touch this S2 or this S3, kind of just stayed within this range. So most likely that's going to happen as well today. Moving on is ticker LSE. No actual news associated to them today. They did put out their earnings on the 18th, and that is what is fueling all of this. So it is up 80.44%. It's not heavily shorted, so I've never seen even large cap stocks this low, but 0.01%. So don't anticipate much from that. And that actually only works out to be 226 shares only. That is kind of crazy, but nonetheless, though, I don't see this being or them being a big part in the day-to-day action of it. But it's already above all the key fib levels, so I'm not going to bring that up. So just trade accordingly and whatever else. So I think in general, ticker QUBT and just many other quantum stocks are moving higher this morning, even though Jensen didn't really outright say anything like optimistic about them. But still, I think nonetheless, just there's a lot of optimism from the keynote and what he did state about the future of just AI, a lot of new innovative things coming out. So I think quantum is just piggybacking off of that. Like I said, even though nothing in specific about them, but 21.25% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 21.91 million shares overall are being shorted. So shorts are starting to really double down. Utilization is 92.27. Some points to watch for with it at $8.73. It is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 749 will be a strong support. 928 will be the next strong target / resistance. In my opinion, I do feel like this R1 will be touched prior to Powell, and then dependent on that will either push it to this R2 or bring it to this closer to this pivot point. So anticipate a lot of volatility regardless, but I feel, like I said, we might even be touching potentially this R2 today. So that would be a pretty good return on investment or even a swing trade. So again, just kind of add that to your watch list. But moving on, Robinhood is getting a lot of volume. It is piggybacking off the broader market. And in my opinion, the only thing that really was announced was this, and this was like late last night. So Robinhood presents the Lost City of Gold. So it looks like a live stream, and that is going to be on March the 26th. Overall, Robinhood has been doing a phenomenal job of putting out a lot of innovative type of ideas. So I think even recently you can do trades on just, I guess, the March Madness and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that they're working on that is out the box. And honestly, it's a very good thing for Robinhood, bigger picture. So I feel like this is what is causing the abnormal volume this morning. But shorts are currently increasing 3.2 thousand shares this morning. 3.14% at the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 23.78 million shares overall are being shorted. So even though this isn't a squeeze play, you can kind of see shorts have been increasing. So it went from 1.79% to where it is now at 3.14. So shorts have somewhat been doubling down. With it at $40 and change, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So 44.93 will be a strong support. 39.53 will be the next strong target / resistance. I'm looking at the 1-day chart as well, moving to the 4-hour just so you have a little bit more of a shorter, smaller resistance and support levels. With this capacity, just watch for $40.84, and then flip side 38.56. And then moving on, last but not least, ticker is ATER. They did have their earnings. It is up 18%, a lot of volume getting in. Not that heavily shorted, so 3.99% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 225,000 shares overall. So not really all that crazy, so I don't anticipate them to be that active or influencing the price that much. If you're looking at trading it though, with it at $2.41, trading between this R2 and this R1, so $2.38 will be a strong kind of support. Flip side, 254 and then 278, if it does gain some pretty good momentum, will be the next strong target / resistance. So let me know your general thoughts on today. Are you bullish on Powell? Are you bearish? I did listen to a couple of podcasts yesterday, and it seems to be, I don't know, maybe they're just trying to spread fear, but there is a lot of big names out there, all pretty much not really having that much high expectations on Powell. And I think in general rather bearish. So maybe I'm the outlier about it being positive. Since he last spoke, data has been relatively good. That's why he stated last time that the economy is strong and whatever else. So that's, I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see at the end of the day. But I do feel like the market is looking for something positive and justify a reason to really move higher. So let me know your thoughts on these stocks. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. But one final thing, pop over to my Patreon and get buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.